His release from the dungeons had come with a price. A scream stuck to him like a parasite. A silver of the snake's body melted onto his own, spying on his every move. "Hey!" Hoss snarled, snatching the scream as he slithered onto his pants. The eel hissed and stabbed at his rump, drawing a drop of blood before it hopped up Hoss' flank and neck and curled around his ear. "Dirty little bugger!" Hoss murmured, sucking his rump. He wanted to grab the little leech and smash it and grind it to a pulp, but he knew another scream would replace it. If he was lucky. More likely than he'd be killed or thrown back in the dungeons. Morning sun flared through the window and Hoss rubbed at his eyes. He had been freed from his cell last night by the snake, who, upon hearing his brother had made a deal with Sophie to set Hoss free, had taken it upon himself to do the freeing for the sole purpose of tormenting Tetros into thinking it was the prince that Sophie had released. Then the snake had dragged Hoss out of the dungeons, slapped at him with a suffering scream, and whisked him straight to a servant's quarters the size of a closet, where he had been locked in the dark. At dawn, Hoss had been jogged awake by Gus, fitted in this billowing uniform like a disguised genie, and brought to the queen's chamber, sleepless and filthy, and told to wait for his new mistress to emerge from her bath. Why did Sophie pick me? He wondered now. She could have picked anyone. Tetros, Hestus. She could have picked Dauphin. She could have picked the Dean. Does she need me for something only I can do? Is she sacrificing me so the others can live? His blood prompted hotter. Or did she choose to save me first? The scream moved and Hoss remembered that it was there. Only Sophie could make him forget about a monster on his ear. He brushed at Hotter and sniffed at his armpits. Bitch. Maybe he could ask to use the bath after she was finished. He'll need to be quick. The blessing was in less than an hour, and as her new steward, he had been tasked with getting her ready, even though he had no idea what that meant. Hoss glanced around the fence room, suddenly a shimmer in sunlight. Everything looked freshly remodeled, the blue marble tiles with lion emblems, the silk wallpaper textured with gold lions, the flawless gem-crested mirrors, and a clean white settee stitched with a gold lion's head. All that time playing Tetros Loyal Knights, Hoss nodded, thinking of Ryan's perfectly haunted act. Almost made him feel sorry for Tetros. Almost. The scream started creeping down his neck again. Hart could hear the bath water draining. His thoughts turned to Sophie in the bath, and he beat down on the inside of his cheek. He had a girlfriend now, who was pretty and smart and fun, and when you have a girlfriend, you're not supposed to think about other girls, especially girls in bathtubs and girls who you have obsessed about for 3 years. He tried to distract himself with details of the room, but found his eyes moving to Sophie's bed. The silky, rumpled sheets, the tin of hazelnuts on the nice table, the cup of tea and vial of untouched honey, the wet lipstick on the edge of the cup. The doors opened behind him, and two young maids in white uniforms that matched the color of his own entered the Queen's chamber, lugging heaps of garment bags. Hart hesitated to help and saw each bag was branded with fawn sack-wetching fabrics as he hoarded them into his arms and laid them over the city. He turned to the maids, but they were already shuffling back through the doors, heads down and faces hidden by their bonnets. Are those my dresses from Madame Crawford? Thank goodness, Sophie said, sweeping out the bathroom in a pink robe, a towel turbaned around her head, as she barely gave Hart a glance. Madame Crawford found secretary in the Empress of Fashion in the woods. All the best princesses are wearing her clothes. Madame Crawford even decided Evelyn said the gown, you know, the one made out of those spine blue butterflies, nearly killed us all our second year. But Cass Magnifique, wasn't it? Last night I wrote Madame in a panic, begging her to send me something to wear for the blessing, and given my new position, she naturally upbraided. She warned it would be prohibitively expensive, but I told her Ryan would pay, whatever the cost. He and his brother have lost all rights to clothe me after last night. Not just because the dress they gave me was gruesome, though I certainly made it more thin, but because it gave me hips, hearts. As soon as I got back to my room, it started burning my skin like it was made of fire ants. You know how allergic I am to cheap fabric. In any case, I got the dress off because it did any real damage and smoked it to a crisp.